Scooch.
Okay. Looks like our audio is working, video is working, and we will start the meeting in 7 minutes.
We don't have any outside guests, by the way, so this is gonna be very quick.
That's what you say every single week.
And every single week I go, but if nobody goes off on tangents, it'll be quick and efficient.
And they know the guy I speak to.
It's like he doesn't want us here, Raj.
Okay, all right, I'll call REAC to order. I'll do the roll call. Wait, are we up?
Yes, we're
Okay,
live.
we're up.
Yep.
Okay, Irene Coughlin.
Here.
Peg Zugaby.
Here.
Raj Amar.
Yeah.
Tim Riley. Okay, or first, we don't have any action on it. We have no old business. The treasurer's report, if you take a look at it, it's the usual, our monthly report, it's the usual 2 checks. One is for our bookkeepers, one is for our compliance consultant. I also, just as an aside, you're gonna see a distinct drop in our compliance consultant costs because Heidi has assumed, much, just taking that on as far as, we kind of absorb the knowledge, but we will always use them to a certain degree as a third party looking over our shoulder. And they also are very good at interacting with the state should there be any questions or issues, so, but overall.
Yeah, good to have in our corner, but we have taken most of it on. Yeah.
So with that said, if there's no questions, somebody wants to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report, and then I'm gonna do the 5 years, so, but it's just for the month.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second, Raj, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, the 5-year report, as I was talking to Peg, every year, as we all know, just very briefly, as we know, each year, the state requires us to do a 5-year projection budget, which for us is almost an exercise in, and this is more for you, Irene, just to know, they require us to do a 5-year projection budget on income and expenses and stuff. For us, it's kind of a frustrating exercise. I have to be careful because we are live, so I want to say, but point is many IDAs actually operate properties, they operate corporate parks, they have tenants, they do rent. There's a almost like a business. So they can project out. We're reactive in the sense that we base our revenues are based on projects coming to us. So last year we did a big project, Dan's project, and that was it was a big fee involved. Next year we may not do any project. We don't know because we respond to people calling us. So this is an exercise we have to go through, but it's based largely on us kind of saying historically, well, what do we think, and guesswork. But there's also no correction to it. Like there's no follow-up to it from the state, which is like they just need it. And for us to argue that it's a silly thing for us to do wouldn't be worth the effort. That a fair way of putting it?
Yes.
Okay.
That said, we've done our 5-year budget.
So with that said, you can look at our 5-year budget and happy to answer questions about it. This is the format the state requires, so.
Charges for services in 2025. That $500,000 is basically the Good Sam?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dominican.
Oh, Dominican too, right?
Yeah, early January, right?
Yeah.
And we may get a call next,
Yeah.
January 1st, and that's it.
Well, what it did do is, I know before those two, we were down to nickels and dimes, so.
Right.
we're good for a
Yeah,
while.
we're good for quite a while.
Yeah. Now, we do have CDs, et cetera, that
I know.
we cash that on, but as far as operating revenue,
You can't invest in other than CDs?
we're very, very
Here we
limited.
go.
No. No.
This has been a discussion we've had for 10, 15 years.
The state, I'm simplifying, but the state's rules with IDA or REAC, our funds, are that it has to be secure, it has to be easily liquefied and accessible, and rule number 3 is go back to rules number 1 and 2. It can't be speculative, it can't be high risk, so CDs are, we can't put it into the stock market or any investment funds or anything like that. And we have to, because of the nature of other factors, we also have to be able to control where it's invested. So we had at one point, we had all our money with TD Bank. And TD would take our money, invest it in things around the world and overseas and all that. And we couldn't, our rules wouldn't allow for that. And they certainly, TD was not going to change their investment practices for a little Rockland County IDA. So we had to take it out and give it to Orange County Bank, who's done a fine job, but we're also talking about, in the different discussions, we're talking about spreading that around a little bit, but then we'll save that for another discussion. If there's any questions about the 5-year budget, if not, then someone wants to make a motion and second.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I mean, we've gone out to numerous investment people and around, and always come back to the same place. They can't.
Got it covered.
Okay, with that said, I'm going to read the minutes quickly. So, called to order, 10 o'clock, no action items, no old items, the board reviewed the treasurer's report. Motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Roger Marr to accept the September report. Board reviewed the 5-year budget. Following discussion, a motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Peg Zugaby to accept the 5-year budget. All were in favor, and I guess a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Okay. That concludes REAC. Okay. Okay, I'm going to call to order the IDA. I'll do the roll call. Irene Coughlin.
Here.
Peg Zugaby.
Here.
Raj Amar.
Here.
Tim Riley. Okay. First order of business, an authorizing resolution with the Shriner Group. As you call the Shriner Group, they came back to us and they requested additional sales tax exemption. I think that was in mortgage reporting tax. Additional funds simply because of the time has occurred that, unlike, similar to most projects, it seems like costs have risen over time. So they've asked us, and Irene, just as a point of explanation, just to give you some background, we'd approved this project. This was a company that leased space in Blauville. They bought a building over in Chestnut Ridge. We're expanding greatly. They've been a good long-time Rockland company. This keeps them here. Now they own, so they're sinking the roots in deeper. It came to us a year ago, if not longer, I think it was, to ask for our typical benefits. We approved it. Now, as they've finally gotten their approvals from Chestnut Ridge, which took longer than they would have anticipated, costs have risen dramatically. They've asked us so they can maintain the project as presented. And in fact, they've actually expanded the parameters of the project during the interim. So it's worked out good for us. So this is reauthorizing at a bigger number. So any questions or discussion?
Public hearing was held, no public
Oh, yes,
comment.
that's right. No public comment at all. If there's no other comments, if someone wants to make a motion, okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, authorizing resolution. Yossi Woodworks. Just a very quick recap. Yossi Woodworks leases space from the old Journal News building. You know that one.
Yeah.
They came here last month. They're negotiating a pilot. We had involved their landlord, who was kind of at arm's length because they're technically the property tax owner. This is the authorizing resolution. Since we had a public hearing, there was no public comment, and we're authorizing it, so that kind of clears the decks for them to go ahead and us to go ahead, and all the terms of the pilot have been agreed to by the parties. Now we will paper it at this point. So this authorizing resolution is just the next step of our approval.
I'd like to just add something to that, Steve.
Yes. Oh, yeah, please do.
The landlord had to be part of the application because it's a property tax.
Yeah.
Pilot application. But the applicant did not want to be responsible for any recapture if there was ever any default during the process. So they wanted the pilot to be drafted so that the tenant would be responsible for any of the recapture, because the tenant is the one that's ultimately paying the taxes anyway. And then the only recourse to the landlord would be that it would be back on the regular tax rolls and paying the regular taxes. So just wanted to make everybody aware of that.
Okay, if there's no other comments, someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
There you go, you're on the board.
Back to what happened.
I'm sharing. That's all.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorizing resolution for GK Congers. As you know, this is the warehouse. No,
Warehouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
the last meeting, it kind of bounced back and forth.
Yeah.
Where I had to stop it there. This warehouse up in Congers.
I
And
like how you looked at Heidi. Wow.
as you get older, you have to look at yourself.
I get it, I get it.
I had this look at
When
one
you
point.
just see LLC, you should know it's a warehouse.
So this is the warehouse. Again, this is the next step of the approval process. We had the public hearing. There was no public comment. So this is really a simple matter of doing the authorizing resolution. Anybody have any comments or questions?
I do. I just
Okay.
also want to make everybody aware that the application states that the total project costs are approximately $155 million. But the applicant applied for $400 million of mortgage tax exemptions. When I spoke to their counsel, they acknowledged that they only really wanted to ask for $120 million of mortgage tax. They told me that they were going to amend the application. That hasn't happened yet. But this authorizing resolution is only for $120 million worth of mortgage tax, not 400 like the application originally stated.
Okay. So can I suggest a solution that if we can act on this, but we're not going to have Ed Day sign it. We won't have it signed by the county executive until they,
Until we get the app, yes.
so we're
Or
not,
you just want to table it.
I would table it.
Yeah.
well, I mean, we can. I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing.
let them get their act together and then
That's
we'll.
fine
you know,
too.
Get
Okay.
it back.
All right. So rather than taking a vote,
I'll make a motion to table.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Couldn't-
Okay. Table
It's a big
till,
difference.
Where again? Yeah, like, just a little.
Okay.
Where is this? I forgot this one.
This is in Congers on 303.
Isn't that the 17 acres that?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, now I got it. Yeah, yeah, now I got it.
It's a little bit.
Down, I got it, yep.
Okay,
Rockland Lake.
that's fine. There's nothing urgent about
Is
this.
there a
We're not-
reason
They're
why they
nowhere
took so
close.
long to just, all they had to do was change the app? Just the number.
That wasn't what.
It took a little while to start the dialogue with their attorney,
I do.
but when she
Okay.
responded,
Yeah, no, it didn't.
pointed out to
Didn't
her,
fill out any
I would've said
data.
So that's why the
Authorized.
application and just put, 120 million compared to 400, there's a big difference. It's huge.
Right.
If it was 120 to 125, I can understand.
So-
If nothing else, maybe this will get them off there.
Yeah.
But and get them
I
to
agree.
clean everything.
All right, that's fine. Like I said, there's no, like I said, that's fine. Okay. So, all in favor of tabling? Okay. Okay. Next matter, labor compliance report presentation. Sarah, you're on.
Good morning, everyone. Labor compliance has been going, honestly, it's been going very well. I'm developing relationships with all of our projects. I've been to now multiple site visits, so everybody's used to seeing me on site. They've honestly done a surprisingly good job of giving us what we are asking for in terms of documentation. I've talked to general contractors, I've talked to people in the office, if they're separate, different people, we're all working together, and I'm getting tabbed binders with daily sign-in sheets in chronological order and organized pictures of IDs so we can check workers, are they living in the area? And it's honestly been an excellent experience. It's been wonderful having Steve and Heidi here to bounce things off of when there's a question, and I can get back to the project immediately. And Sid has been invaluable with her technical skills. So I'm happy to say that for September, we are all in the green.
Excellent, great job.
So it's been going well. Secondly, on labor compliance, We did a visit, Heidi and I did a visit on September 26th to our congregation project, which was the bond for the girls' school. And I came in at the end of this, so I don't know, I wasn't part of the initial, workings of it. But it was, I think we're gonna have some pictures in a minute. We had such a wonderful and inspiring visit. I don't know what the facility was where the girls were before, but now they have this unbelievably bright, open space. And I have a copy of this. I can sort of send these around. The numbers are on the first side, which gives you all of the compliance for the project. And then a few pictures from inside the school in case we have technical difficulties. But the girls they were working on putting the library in. We talked to the teachers, the administrators, and the students themselves. Everybody could not have been happier. I don't know that I've ever been to an educational facility where I have seen such beaming faces everywhere. The girls were laughing. They were putting on a production of Julius Caesar.
Yes. One of the girls was the wind.
Yes,
She was doing a heck of a job.
I mean, it was, and the teacher said, they talked about how much easier it was to teach curriculum in a space where the girls all felt so comfortable. The girls were so excited when they started, they took pictures of the bathrooms to show their parents of the type of space that they were working in. The way that the architecture is done, there are windows that overlook trees, and it really does bring the outside in. So it gives you a tremendous feeling of space. There's a sense of space, of safety, and honestly, real joy in learning. So it's really a win for the IDA and for everything that you guys put into it to make all of that happen.
What took you so long to hire?
Steve.
Bad management.
Yeah.
We had somebody in Spring Valley, they were also girls' school, and they were like constantly under, the fire department was there, the electrical.
Oh, they never went anywhere. That was the trailers out by
Oh, yeah.
Summit Park.
What happened to that?
They just disappeared.
They quietly disappeared.
They bought the building, or they proposed to buy the building in the New West.
Right.
Yeah, I saw
Is that
that.
a truck stop that I'm looking to buy?
No, it was a Presbyterian church.
Oh, yeah,
you
no,
went.
the one that,
The town board.
that town board.
And it ended up in lawsuits. After that,
They just disappeared.
Yeah.
That's where the FBI came and interviewed me. That was
Yeah, I know, I know. what it
one of the times that they came and interviewed Steve.
We're live.
So nothing happened to that
No.
particular?
No,
Okay.
they withdrew their application.
Where is this one? This
Okay.
school?
This school is in Spring Valley?
Chestnut.
Chestnut
Ridge.
Chestnut Ridge.
That all
Yeah.
gets a little bit,
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy
But-
right there.
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, it's funny, as we were saying, we wanted to show this because all too often, and I'm guilty of it, we approve it, we do this, we move on to the next project, we monitor it and all that, but we never really take a lot of time to say, here's the fruits of all that labor.
Well, obviously, they did a great job.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic
Outstanding
job.
facility.
I mean, very impressive just in the pictures, so I can
Yeah,
imagine when they're standing there.
To walk through it and people greeted us with such joy, honestly.
How many?
It was
It was
wonderful.
really a lovely afternoon.
I don't know, Heidi, do you know what the number of students is?
218, somewhere in there, a little over 200 girls. Yeah.
So really, really it was a good day, really was.
Yeah.
And they have a very nice program where they do a mentoring program they've brought in students from nearby schools who have special needs. And they have a class with that, but they've paired each individual in that class with a mainstream class. And they said that the kids have really taken these children under their wings, like they're very proud of all of their accomplishments. It really was such a feel-good afternoon. I'm so glad we went. It was very nice.
It's really excellent.
Yeah.
Great job.
Okay, and one last piece of information. Today we have our reception for the Artists of Juanio at 3 o'clock. This has been a wonderful chance to get to know Jelania, both the staff and the people there. This will be a chance to get to know the people there as well. Their artwork has been incredibly meaningful for us. I think it really adds another dimension to the day, because every time you look at those pictures, those artists have struggled with something, and they have, expressed themselves so beautifully, and been able to enhance our everyday life here in the office, So we are looking forward to honoring them, and you're all welcome to attend.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything at 3 o'clock, if you want to come back, I guess, they're gonna come over, the artists, and, we're gonna come over, and some other folks from Joanna, just to see the display, like I said. So
How
it's
long
nice.
will you be here?
I
I don't
I don't think
really
there's an end
know.
time.
There's
I
no
mean,
end
3
time.
to 4, 3 to 4:30. I don't think it'll be.
I don't think it's gonna run late, but I think people will be here maybe an hour, over an hour.
Yeah, and I think the individuals, some staff members are coming, so they probably want to get back before the end of their
I know I
day.
have a meeting at 12, I can come back at 3.
If you like, yeah, because I know it's a special place in your heart. I was thinking, yeah. So.
Yeah, we're hoping, right now, we have all the artists coming. We have about 5 or 6 artists, so we're very happy about that.
All right, before we move, just, it's funny with the labor, like seeing that, the graph showing all in green. I can say, it's funny, rarely in business do you see a dramatic turnaround. And I know, Irene, this again, deferring to your being new here, we had outsourced it to a third party originally. And not to belabor the point, but there was a lot of conflict with the projects. There was a lot of, the third party, it was a lot, and it wasn't necessarily all good. There was battles, there was, we brought it inside, had Sarah take over, and I figured there would be some growing, pains of just getting our arms around it. But it sounds like we're already hitting on all cylinders. It's really shown, and it's saved us and the projects a ton of money. And it's so much more efficient doing it the way we're doing it.
Great job.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bridges Partnership is our next, Bridges came in, they're looking to partner with us. You want to give them the quick overview? You all should have that proposal.
Bridges came, which is everyone aware? Everyone's familiar with Bridges, correct? And their affiliate agency, Connections, which really focuses on workforce development for people with a disability along with veterans. So they do a lot in the community. They had come to us about a year ago now, I'm thinking.
Yeah, earlier this year, but to pursue a possible partnership. And they have now come back after we have finalized our guidelines for those partnership programs, making a few amendments to their original proposal. So this proposal, what we're looking for from the board today, if you had a chance to look through this, is really just your blessing for us to sort of move forward in formalizing an actual partnership agreement. So not necessarily a vote today on whether or not we want to go through with the partnership, more are we interested in pursuing a partnership. They've made some changes where their proposal is a little less focused on salary and administrative and more on direct programming and physical space and supplies and those kinds of more tangible items. Again, I'm saying this for Irene, like when we partnered with BOCES and Joanio, the emphasis has been on with BOCES, it's very like capital investment. When we have projects that are we have requests that are very heavy on salary, the problem with that is it's not sustainable. Like the program only lasts as long as we fund it, unless they find alternate funding sources, or because we're not necessarily agreeing to pay salaries forevermore. So we've urged, not exclusively, but we've asked them, like Bridges has amended it to say, okay, they've got it. They'd rather have us invest in facilities with them. and they can find other resources as far as salaries. I mean, with some elements of exception there.
Well, the problem with the high salaries is that's when you go out.
Right.
Right, so you wanna make sure that that's not what you're funding.
Right.
If you're funding an improvement, that's a different story.
That's right. We're not interested in
Yeah,
paying for
long-lasting.
executive
So we're not doing,
salaries.
we're not doing a monthly expenses, we're
Yeah.
looking to know what
Correct.
growth are you bringing into the business.
Right, real change that can go into the future, like
And I
some
think
of these
BOCES are
things
for-
are,
BOCES was a perfect example.
Correct. yeah,
I mean, they
that
only,
new equipment they're gonna use for the next
I think
15
they've got
years.
$11,000 left.
11, they're going, yeah, hopefully by the end of this year, they'll draw down on that.
Right, so out of that 500,000, it's 11,000 left, and it was all stuff, like, the auto shop.
but you saw the pictures,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, yeah,
So,
and allowed them to expand those programs, facilitate more kids, yeah.
so I don't know, the question we had also, we talked about yesterday, I don't know, in my mind, this isn't necessarily an executive session matter, because we're a public agency. I don't know if there's any element here where executive session is appropriate or not. I
If the
don't.
board had any legal questions.
Any legal questions or anything like that we need to go into executive session. This is more, as Heidi said, their proposal with maybe some guidelines of whether you want us to continue to pursue the matter and ask,
I have some questions on on their itemized list at the back,
Yes.
like the sensory room workshop. I don't know what that is,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that would fall into the guidelines of what the IDA can,
Yeah, so in the actual, yes, in the actual agreement, we would drill down on all of those, and there's a couple of items in this list that I think we would have to defer to council
Yeah,
for
exactly.
exactly that. So those are the issues we would hope to work out in an actual, formal proposal. But we didn't want to spend time doing that if the board didn't say it was something they wanted to pursue.
okay. My opinion is we can pursue it.
Yeah.
Even if they have to come in here next meeting and explain some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because,
Yes, I think
we're
when
all
we,
leaders, but
yep, when we
again-
get more finalized, Carlos will come in, present, and you'll really know what you're investing in.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Just like I said, there's a couple of these, it just doesn't make sense
Yes.
for us to be
Yep.
involved with.
and remember, this is their wish list.
Yeah, well, no, that's, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
now we're in the fine tuning.
Right.
Should we move to fine tuning?
So if you'd like, if this is something, again, with the questions you guys have in digesting it, if you like, I would say our December meeting may be a very good occasion.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, November meeting.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of
No, I did
ourselves.
that the other day
Yeah,
too.
our November meeting.
Do we have I know you guys mentioned that, this is probably pre-me, will you have guidelines that where
I
your
will send
partnership?
those to you.
We do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I apologize. Yeah, that was
Don't apologize.
pretty much right before we
Yeah,
did
Right,
that,
because
so.
we couldn't have it be a rodeo out there, so we want to put some
Yeah.
guidelines, not only for the projects we're agreeable to, but also you have to have some mechanism where if you also say no, it's because you're not in our guidelines. We've had some entities come to us, say, oh, could you fund our food drive? Well, that's not, it's a wonderful
Right,
effort, but it's
right.
not something,
Right.
we have to be workforce, economic development. And then we developed a scoring system, which we're kind of tweaking as well. And the scoring system, again, is we're gonna wanna make sure that is a informative element. You guys can we can put a score to an application based on various parameters, but we don't wanna box you into where you're like, we're bound by it. Okay, if you get 90, you get the money. We don't wanna go be that. It will go into your decision making, but you always have the discretion of a decision.
I'll send you all of that.
All right, so the general consensus, I think, is that we'll move forward step by step.
Yes.
We'll give some feedback. I think we know where we're going on some of the questions here. And
I also believe that maybe they don't know how to use the funds because they're not used to it. Like Lucy is new to it, Giovanni knows it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not, Carlos is not well versed for that because I know he got some funding from M&T as well.
Mhm.
Because I sit on that board and I do, maybe you guys should sit down and explain. I'm sure you did, but I don't think he realizes that it's not meant for daily expenses, it's meant for growth.
Right.
Yeah, and we will drill down on budgets, how they'll be reporting, what the matrix is gonna be, all of those good things that Rudy can't wait to do with me.
Alright, so we'll
Is that
we'll have.
Smile on your face, cut it off.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, All right, so that's that. I don't think there's any more action we need to take on that. Okay, let's get into this. There's no old business. Let's talk about our financial reports. Again, there we are. Again, largely the same, a little bit more expenditures, but nothing. You'll see the one that jumps out, if you look at our September activity, was almost near the bottom of that first page. You know, we wrote a check out big check out to BOCES.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So that's where, you know, they were, you know, they did it kind of in two phases, and that was the big second phase.
They were a reimbursement.
And that's a reimbursement, by the way. They put the money out and then they send us, it must be 50, 60 pages of detail behind it, as far as what they actually bought.
Not to make light of it, but don't worry, I'm not too concerned with school districts and things like that because they have to do it themselves.
Right.
So it's already built in. That's, you know, condition reflex, so to speak.
Oh, I thought there was gonna be more.
No,
Okay. You're right, other entities aren't as, like, you know, school districts,
Yeah.
they're used to going through the drill to get their funding.
Yeah.
Like Bridges is a
All the
little bit,
auditing.
isn't quite, you know.
I think it's a $5,000 expenditure. Anything over that, they have to go out for public bid.
Yeah,
I forget the exact number,
procurement over.
you know, so.
So if there's no questions with the September report, if someone wants to make a motion to accept it,
I'll move it.
okay, do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, September report. Now, the 5-year report, a little different than the REAC one, but largely the same parameters. We don't, other than what we kind of know is percolating out there now that we've authorized, we can project somewhat what revenues are coming in. Our expenditures are pretty predictable. You know, we're pretty consistent. I mean, it's nothing dramatic there. But again, I hate to be light about it, but it's like we're throwing a dart at a board and saying, okay, you know, maybe another data center comes in, or maybe it doesn't, or, you know, so we kind of project out to a certain extent. We tend to lean on being conservative as far as our projected revenues. Historically, we seem to be, you know, at least in the ballpark of what we're projecting. I want to come back to old business before, sorry, there was one thing I did want to bring up. So. I don't think you have as much time as you need, or whenever you're done, if someone wants to make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
That's called a pregnant pause. Someone have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. I'd like to go back. I'm sorry, I skipped over this, but I want to come back to old business. And I want to chat just very briefly about Chippy, the Champlain Hudson Power Express, what's been going on there, only because it affects us peripherally. So you may or may not have seen that last week, everyone has signed the pilot. 3 towns, 2 villages, 2 school districts. 3 school districts. 3 school districts. The county had not. The county is about 3% of the taxes involved and all of that. They've been going back and forth with Chippy, and I've been in some of those meetings where they're looking for Chippy to cough up more money and put a lot more money in to offset what the businesses, North Rockland businesses said had been an impact. Those businesses are saying that it's cost them $10 million in lost revenues.
Does everybody know what Chippy is? Okay.
Okay. The road work, was extensive. People are complaining about their cars or the, disruption in their day-to-day lives of the roads being worked on, all these various things. So the county has been saying, and the county has also been saying that everybody else got like a community benefit grant, which is basically an upfront cash payment outside of taxes. They didn't. So they wanted Chippy to do that as well. So in turn, Chippy's response has been, and again, I'm going through the things because I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. Chippy's response was, we're paying 280 million plus in taxes for a pipe in the ground once it's completed that we don't require any public services for, and we've written checks in excess of $40 million to the local communities that are impacted. So to come back and ask us now for more money, I don't want to put words in their mouth. They're saying no to that. They're saying we did put this, we have paid for the disruption. That's why we're doing all these things. It's not like that, because we anticipated this disruption. So the county they've been going back and forth, and Chippy has been holding firm. And Chippy did say, well, okay, you know what, we'll give $150,000 towards, to help these businesses that have been affected.
Each?
No, total.
Total.
Versus, so the county in turn has said, no, 150,000 is not enough. We want you to give millions towards these businesses.
But didn't the towns get the money?
That's what I.
Well,
So why can't the towns?
Well, see, this is where it gets, because the town, I'll use Stony Point as an
Yeah, go
example.
ahead.
Stony Point got $8.5 million, check, boom, that they wanted to use for streetscapes, lampposts, upgrade their sewer treatment plant, and that's their plan for the money. People are saying, hey, wait, why don't you take some of that money and give it to the businesses? It's against the law, bluntly against the law for town Stony Point, us, because they asked us for money too. Chamber of Commerce asked us to give money. And Lino's answer to me when I talked to Lino about it was very blunt. He said, yeah, you could, but you're going to go to jail. So I said, no, we're not going to do that.
Who determines that North Rockland needs $10 million? That's a lot of bread.
That's
$10 million, you can buy the whole building out there.
right. I mean, that's the question. They've given, how do you document that some of these small businesses cumulatively have all lost $10 million? It was $5 million, now it's $10 million.
It's a simple calculation.
Right. Right.
It's basically what,
Take
even it was for last year, you multiply, if you want to do a 10% growth to it, and then you multiply the days you were not working.
Or take the last
So-
8 years of doing average.
But ultimately, no one would want, like, we wouldn't be involved. Somebody like a third party, like the Chamber of Commerce up there would probably be tasked with determining who gets what. Because you have some businesses up there saying, we're fine.
Definitely.
Others are saying, oh, we're getting killed out there. We wouldn't want to get in that mess, or I don't think Chippy would either. But anyway, Chippy said they'd give $150,000. That's it. You've
Just
already
to North
coughed up
Rockland or
over
to
$300
everybody?
million.
Just to North Rockland, to everybody.
Just in North Rockland, those are the only ones. Now, I met with Howie Phillips, who said, be it true or not, he said he talked to all the businesses, they said they're fine. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he
The
said.
uproar started when they closed the bridge.
Yes, it was
Yes.
disruptive. I live
That's
up
what
there.
happened.
Right.
I agree.
Now, Chippy has also written checks specifically to the shopping center owners, the Samsonville Plaza, the one where Aldi is, these various ones, compensated them because they lease space to store their equipment.
Where
And to offset the
Wendy's
cost of-
is, it
yeah,
looked like
exactly.
Wendy's was closed.
Exactly, to offset the cost of maybe lost parking spaces. So it gets very, again, and I have to be careful how I say this as far as trying to be neutral about it. Now the bridge is open, it seems like it's gotten quieter. But I just wanted everybody to know what was going on. So the county, last week, Ed Day made an announcement and said, the county is not gonna sign off on this pilot unless Chippy ponies up more money. We're very unhappy that they're not. Chippy's position is, okay, all right, like we can live with that, and we'll go to, tax, appeal the taxes. We'll go to, we'll have have that determined as far as the assessment. we're willing to roll the dice. The county is hoping that Chippy will say, wow, instead of paying them $14 million over 30 years, it would be 30 million, and maybe it's worth them to negotiate a deal. So that's not our fight. And the county, we confirmed with the county, because originally they wanted to confirm that could they hold up everything. We said, no, this, like every one of our pilots, each taxing entity goes forward, like, whether they join or not, doesn't affect the towns, the schools, village.
Great.
So the county, this is the county's position.
And most, if I'm not mistaken, most of these businesses weren't closed.
They're not.
Yeah, so in other words,
Well, Higgins. up
Oh, the
there,
funeral
Funeral
home
home?
was, yeah.
okay,
yes,
maybe
they
a
were
few of them.
closed, and I guess from what I understand, we're told that it was only gonna be until like May or something, and they're still, they're still having to go to New City, and that's a hardship for people.
But I thought Higgins closed by choice.
They got paid, but from what I understand, the time that they gave them long since lapsed.
So my point is, for a vast majority of these businesses, their claim, if they have one, is the difference between their revenue back then and their revenue now. So if I owned a pizza place and I was doing, $30,000 a week, and I'm now doing 15 because of the disruption, they've got an argument. But if not, and so my point is, it's never gonna get there. Open your books, show us what happened.
Right.
That's all, show us what
Right.
happened.
The other thing too is, as I understood it, is that a lot of those workers were supporting those local businesses as well,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it was Rock's Kitchen or
Chippy-
Avanti's Pizza or
Chippy
The
made a
liquor store.
commitment-
Fireside.
They made a commitment to order, like, food from
Yeah.
Fireside
Well, that's what the
restaurant
school
or
district did,
Deli
whatever we
Central.
did, we ordered from all those places. To make
So-
sure.
So show us your books, show me where you've been
Yeah.
damaged.
right.
Yeah,
That's all.
but there's a lot of ill will in the community up there, from what I understand, even in the people who live around there.
Sure.
Because they work late at night.
Right. O&R,
Okay.
they were
And
working at
people
night.
were saying, if I had a party and I was playing music at 1 o'clock at night, the cops would have been at my house shutting me down.
11:15.
And yet beep was going at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they were yelling, "Who's going for coffee?" And there was a lot of ill will built up against the project just in the community.
Yeah.
My son lives on
You know.
Bayview, and I can tell you the nights that we babysat for our granddaughter, it was not pleasant, the noise that they were generating.
so-
And I only experienced it
I'm just saying,
firsthand, so.
people who live there, there's just a lot of general animosity built toward the project for that
Yeah.
reason.
I
And the
mean,
other thing is, they're
Saying, if
not
I
getting,
did that, I would have had somebody the cops knocking on my
Do
door
it.
telling me.
and they're not getting anything. I mean, they're getting, taxes are gonna be paid,
But they
but they don't
right
see
now.
that.
They don't see that right
So,
now.
this is for New York City. They're putting this down, it's not
Right.
for us.
right.
Well, like Irene said earlier, the best thing to do is go to your accountant and say, here's my books, this is exactly what my losses are, I can back it up. This is what you,
Like,
it
I
should be-
think Higgins might have.
right, and,
Yeah.
and
To
Chippy
say
might
you
say, fine,
told me
I'll
you
write
were
you a check
gonna
for your
be-
losses.
I can open in May, and now here I am in October, and I'm.
Unless something changes though, Chippy's position is, and they've reconfirmed it, is this is why we're giving you $300 million between taxes and these community benefit grants to the municipalities. Because of this very, we're not paying twice for this, like we paid for this
Right.
this
But what's-
disruption.
that's it.
We're
But
not
people
paying
are
it
saying
later on.
running over
Steve,
those
where
plates is
is-
ruining your tires, and I don't know
coming
anything
from
about it,
$10
but I
million.
don't know.
I mean, there's a big difference. for a
Well,
business.
this is a number that the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce has somehow determined. I guess they've
Do
gone.
they realize what $10 million is?
My question is, how does it impact us?
Well,
So-
I told you all this to tell you this, it doesn't affect us at all. Okay, I mean, our
They're looking
job,
for us, but there's nothing we can.
our job was simply to do what we were asked to do, which was authorize a pilot that all the taxing entities and Chippy wanted. We are the vehicle for pilot. They have no legal right to enter into their individual agreements. They have to use us. And all we do, we're not giving them any other benefit. And we just facilitated the means of which they can negotiate pilots, of which we were not involved in any degree. So we're just a facilitator. You know, we're not pro about this. So this has no impact on us in that regard.
This isn't gonna include in any way, like a pool of money, like people are complaining that those plates you drive over ruin your tires.
Well, that's
A reimbursement for
right.
that too.
Like that, there is no, in fact, again, and
I mean, you've driven.
I've said, oh yeah, no,
I drive over
Very
it all the time myself.
yes.
But is that gonna be part of this county suit too?
Well, no, the county has said that there has to be, this is another thing that they should pony up Chippy. And Chippy says, no, we actually have, and we've advertised to all the taxing entities multiple times. There's a number you call if you feel your car has been damaged, call us. We'll look into it. And if we see there's merit to it, you got a flat tire because you hit a bolt on one of those plates, we'll compensate you. And they have in fact done that.
Oh, okay.
The county's position is, well, that's not enough, that you should be doing more. Chippy in turn, and again, listen, I sat in these meetings and listen, you know, there was, you know, Chippy in turn responds, well, there was occasion where some woman said all 4 of her tires were ruined by going over the plates. When the investigator went, he saw they were all 4 old tires. And she was trying to get Chippy to buy, you know, new tires for it. So you get into this kind of weeds, and I'm not saying the merit of that or not. We have
That's what
nothing
I'm
to do with
saying,
that.
yeah.
So it, you know, like I said, just
I
want
just
everyone to
hear
be
everything
aware
out in the
that, you know,
community, there's a lot of ill will. I think it's because it's been.
somebody wanted to
stretching
be
on for so
compensated
long.
for the beeping at night, said it ruined their quality of life, ruined their summer because of the beeping of the trucks at night, and they wanted to be compensated for loss of quality of life. I don't know how you come up with a number for that.
People have a good argument. The problem is they're directing it at the wrong people. What I mean by that is Chippy came in, from what I understand and what we saw here, very open. They gave everybody community development money, et cetera, and they basically said, oh, we're good, we're done. Now, what'd you expect? You know, they're gonna dig up the roads, that's what the process was. So unless something unusual, like you get a flat tire, it's all been, we've covered all of this. It's not an open bucket, so we got, you know.
Right, so that's Chippy's position, the county's position is, well, you know, it wasn't exactly, I mean, you need to pony up more. So how it shakes out, I don't know, but I just want everyone to be aware of it, because, you know, you're seeing news, dribs and drabs of news on, like, Business Journal, lowhud, you know, .com, or.
I mean, it's been real, you know, driving around.
Well, listen, you know, the bridge was, I live on the other side of the bridge, so I had to go through me personally, this is just my own opinion. Like, okay, you know, it's not the first time there's been construction, you know, I lived.
It was more of a hassle that
It
you
was
had to go
annoying,
the
like,
back road.
Yeah, it was a
to
little
the other
hassle,
side
but
of
was it
town, but-
life-changingly bad? No, you know. Did Sheila say, you gotta slow down going on those places? Yes, yeah, so, you know, but other than that, it was
You
like.
did, you got adapted to it.
Yeah.
To me, like, as far as the district went, the roundabout.
Yeah.
Was a bigger hassle for
Yeah.
us.
Which
Oh, up by the school? Oh, I heard about that.
That was a nightmare for
Oh,
us.
My friend lives, Michael Stone lives just down the road from them,
That was
and his kids live on the other side, and,
Yeah, to drive all the way.
oh, I gotta drive all the way
All the way
around.
down
That
202
was a
and
nightmare
around, just to
for
go to
us.
someplace you could almost walk to.
You know, like, kids who went, like, who lived right near, you know, like, having to fall, you know, that was a night, because our runs are so close to one another. We have like 4 runs for the different, so there's like only a certain amount of time between runs.
Yeah.
And so like now that when you had to go all,
That
that
was
was a
a-
hassle for us, and that was a big deal.
So
It went pretty fast, that circle.
Not when you're there.
No, not really.
I don't know, I live on the other side of town, so I don't know.
Not when you're going through it.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It looks great now.
It is great.
Yeah, it
It is actually great. That new
It
system's
is.
always alive.
I mean, it was 2 golf seasons. That's how I measure things. That was
But
under
even
construction,
that
'cause I
little one
listened
that
to my
didn't
golf
open
buddy.
for a long time was a hassle. So
Yeah.
that cut for the district, that was a bigger hassle even than Jiffy, but
So,
we'll see.
all right, I still have a quorum sitting here. Do you want me to, if there's no other comments, I'll read the minutes.
I
You want
think
me to go
it's
ahead and
fine.
do that? Okay, so call to order, 4 members present. The board considered an authorizing resolution for Shriner. Following discussion, I'm giving the brief version, obviously. public hearing, no public comment, it's public hearing. Motion by Peg Zugby, seconded by Roger Morrow, all in favor. Yoshi Woodworks, authorizing resolution, council discussed about the position of the landlord as far as that they were going to be, not responsible should there be recapture, et cetera. So I'll fill in the blanks on that. Motion by Roger Marr, seconded by Irene Coughlin, all in favor. GK Congers, board was considering, a public hearing was held. Council did note that they requested an amended page in the application, that change in numbers. I'll fill in the detail on that. Following discussion, the board made a motion and approved to table the matter until the application was amended. Okay, our labor compliance manager gave a report on the labor report, showing that all projects are within compliant parameters. And that was followed by a discussion of showing a quick presentation of the results of a project, congregation project, we call it, showing I'll come up with the right words about how nice, it was, how it all looked, as a means of just showing the board what a successful project it was. The board discussed the Bridges partnership and following discussion of some of the items and the various matters, directed staff to pursue the matter, to flesh out some of the details of the Bridges proposal and invite them to come to our November meeting to discuss a more final form proposal. The board reviewed the September financial report and it was adopted. Board reviewed the 5-year budget report and it was adopted. The board discussed the CHIPPE, that's the Champlain Hudson Power Express, currently what's going on as far as pilot approval involving the county and CHIPPE and the various issues that are around that project. With that said, someone want to accept the minutes?
Also.
Okay. Is second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And then motion to adjourn?
So yes.
Okay.
You actually did pretty well there, Steve.
That's it. 55 minutes.
Irene, did Steve explain to you what we're doing with our money? and Why we're doing it?